Are we there? Are we there? I don't know. I think we are. We're having some technical issues today, guys. If you're like wondering what we're doing, we're trying to go live.
Setting up for your webinar.
It's just setting up,
live.
But that says live. Stuck. So I don't know if we're here or not. We're in like the limbo. Oh, there we are. There we go. Yes.
Now we are live.
Okay, we are officially live on YouTube. Finally. Hey guys, how are you doing? I'm sorry about the false start if you just joined us there. It looks like we are now live and ready to chat to you. So I hope you are all doing super well. It is 4:00 on a Friday here in San Diego, California. This doesn't look like San Diego, California.
Where are we at today?
We are outside the Louvre in Paris.
Oh, Paris.
Okay. Gay Paris.
Oh.
Are you feeling French today?
No. I need a baguette.
A baguette. That's very stereotyped. Not all French people carry baguettes around.
Oh.
I've been to France. I know about France.
Did you eat a baguette in France?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
But now I can't eat baguettes because I can't eat gluten. But you know. Anyway, how are you guys doing? We have hopefully we're doing a quick show today. We always say that, and then we always overrun by like a million hours. But we can't overrun today because we have a improv show at 6:30 right after this, so we have to like get running out of here at 5 p.m. to make sure we're at our improv show, jumping around on stage pretending to be dinosaurs, and I don't even know what we pretend to be. And space aliens. Fun times. So I hope you're all doing okay. We have lots. It seems like a very nerd heavy show today.
It kind of is. It's probably I'm to blame, maybe.
Well, there's E3 and there's a lot of sort of
announcements
things going on. So hi Melinda, hi Amber, hi Marilyn, DK Finn, BK Thompson. Hope you guys, hi Katharyne, hope you are all doing super well. So yeah, we had a busy week. We did a back to school class on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? I've lost track of the days now. We had a back to school class on Wednesday. If you are in our Facebook group, you can go and find it right now just by clicking. Well, don't like go now because obviously you're watching this, and if you're watching me then madness lies that way. Basically,
I don't recommend seeing a live show and then a pre-recorded show simultaneously.
It's like Katharyne Overload. No, you know all about Katharyne Overload. So yeah, we had a pretty good week. We did the live show in our Facebook group on Wednesday, and what I talked about there was and everyone missed you, by the way. They were like, where's Isaac? What have you done to Isaac? Is he in the basement locked up? No, not on Wednesday, but maybe another day, but not on Wednesday. You weren't locked up in the basement. So we talked about low content books for schools, and my goal was basically to do a back to school class without talking about composition books, because composition books are like so 2016. We're like bored of composition books.
2018.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, let's talk about other things you can do other than composition books, graph books. I mean, those are actually there's a couple of people.
Sell. I mean,
it's true. Well. It's true. And there's people who are coming in the groups like, I just sold like 1,000 composition books. Like, okay, cool, you found the niche.
Maybe
awesome.
For us, we're kind of.
But it's I think. There's so many other things that you can make. Like we talked about all the different kinds of schools there are, like Steiner and Montessori, Emilio, like schools for kids with sort of who are gifted, schools for kids with special needs, schools for kids who have special needs and are gifted, the twice exceptional. Yeah. We talked about how school applies to everyone from 0 to 80 and above.
Yeah, never stop learning.
Never stop learning. Yeah. We talked about private schools. We talked about specialist schools like drama schools, music schools, sports schools, STEM schools. That's something we might come up a bit in the show.
Montessori schools.
But yeah, we talked a lot about schools, different kinds of books you can make for schools by solving problems like planners, basically just looking at the challenges. Like we put together a band planner. That was kind of fun. We had some examples for what you could put in a planner for kids who are in band or teachers who are leading bands. Like there's so many niches within schools. Like you don't have to think, okay, I've got to make a composition book in the most popular size for public schools. Like when you start looking at what happens in and around schools and things like the Greek Society, sports clubs, like ballet classes, like so many things happen in and around schools, and even like books to cope with like social issues like bullying or like scheduling all your like revision books and homework and just and lunch boxes and lunch planners, like all the things that go around schools. So that was what we talked about on Wednesday. If you're in our KDP group, you can go and just find it. It's right there. Just click on videos and you should find it. If you're not in our group, come and join it. It's awesome. So we would love you to come and join us. It was an hour-long class. I did run it as a class. So there was a lot of tips on research, finding out information, how I design interiors, all of that kind of stuff. And it was free.
It was free.
This isn't like, okay, you've got to pay me $100. Nope, it was free. And I didn't hold back either. It's not like, see, it was funny. We had a conversation in the group I don't know, maybe last week. And we were talking about like courses. And, you know, I feel like the point of courses and classes isn't to like hold back and have a secret. Like, ooh, my big secret for KDP.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that stuff. I don't like sort of like, I've got a secret. Because I thought about this and I'm like, well, okay, if you go to university, right, or you go to a college, or let's say you go to, like we go to improv class, right? When we go to our improv class and we ask a question, the teacher doesn't go, ooh, well, that's in my secret workshop that you have to pay like an extra $100 for. Like, no, he wants to share his knowledge. And I feel like if you're an expert in stuff, then like share your knowledge, like don't hoard it. And I don't know, this is like a thing for me because I found like I hate hoarding stuff, because what happens when I hoard ideas is that I go and look at my Google Docs and I find all this stuff and I'm like, I never told anyone that. That's really sad. This is like something cool. I want to like, I don't. And the other thing is I find when I put stuff out there, then people tend to tell me stuff and then I learn even more. So it's like you learn by putting things out there. And I really feel like there's more people just need to do stuff and put stuff out there, because the more you put out and I noticed something, like we have certain friends that do a lot of stuff, like maybe they record music, maybe they run classes, maybe they write books, whatever they do. I've noticed that, and there's like journalists and like people who are creating things. I've noticed they all tend to be friends with each other. So when I click on like one of my friends who like makes music, for example, they often are friends with like my friend who's like a journalist, or my friend who like it runs a computing company or like a software company. So I think there's a lot to be said for putting stuff out there. And I encourage people, like, share your knowledge. Don't like hoard stuff and be like, oh, this is my one secret. Like, if you have one secret, you're not an expert. It's like, no, like, don't hold on to your one secret. Like, keep growing your knowledge and sharing your knowledge. And that's kind of like how you become an expert and stuff. Yeah. Gosh, I'm on my soapbox.
That's good. It's good.
I need to stop. So anyway,
a quick update to Tangent.
Oh yeah.
So for those of you, I know a few people here said that they're new Tangent customers. I added a brand new tool for people that are creating their own, that are basically creating their own PDFs in general. And every day now, I'm helping someone with the rejection from KDP. So every day they run into an error, and there's either a formatting issue, there's a margin issue, a bleed issue.
I just want to make it clear, this isn't Tangent.
No, it's not Tangent templates. Oh no, these are people that are mixing our templates with their own customized templates,
or making their own.
Or making their own. But they're using Tangent templates to get the dimensions and stuff, and they're running into issues. And almost like 99% of the time, it's a user issue. It's just someone not understanding the nuances with working with PDFs. So I created a new tool called PDF Checker. And what it does, if you go to Tangent templates, go to more tools, and you'll see it. It's called PDF Checker. Click on that.
Pretty cool.
And what you do is you upload your PDF, and it will give you just a large range of information that you normally won't get from a PDF. You'll see the dimensions, you'll see the number of pages, and you'll see a lot of the meta data, when it was created, who created it, and so on. And then also you can see a preview of the pages.
You know what I love about it? that it gives it that it I kind of pushed for this one. I said, can you put like check marks in, and can you give warnings? So it actually checks through your PDF, and if there's a problem with the dimensions, if something's off with the PDF, it will tell you, hey, this page isn't formatted correctly, or there's a problem with this page. So I think it's a really awesome tool. Like what, especially if you're creating your own interiors and you're running into problems. Like, I mean, tangent templates, our interiors that we've put together, they're pretty well tested. Like if you're experiencing a problem, chances are it's probably not with one of the pre-made interiors. So this is really, really powerful if you are creating your own interiors and you want to check them and make sure everything looks okay. Did we go a bit blurry then? I'm just doing that.
It'll click.
There we go. We'll clean up.
So anyways, it's a new tool, and actually it looked more nerdy before, and then Katharyne had me clean it up to make it
this is overwhelming. This is too nerdy.
So I try to give just the most important information on
but it's awesome for troubleshooting. If you have problems, it's really good for troubleshooting.
Yeah, and it's a precursor for more things to come. So no announcements yet, but just let you know, as every week we are actively working on it, making the software, the platform that much better.
Yeah, we've got a lot in the works for tangent templates. Lots. We have more ideas than time though. Like we have so much we want to put in it, but we're working on it, and hopefully
we're going through it.
It's only a year old. It's like a baby.
Yeah, a year old. And thank you everyone for your feedback, especially in the group, the Facebook group. It helps me as a developer figure out where should I put my interest and energy at and resources to make it better for everyone.
Don't leave the basement.
Yeah.
Stay there. We don't have a basement. We're in California. Oh my gosh, we had a rattlesnake last week though.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That was nuts.
There was a big old rattlesnake, and he was sat right outside our doorstep, and that sucked. I did not like that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was working, in my office area, which is right by the patio, and I heard Sid come in the backyard going, to our dog, honey, snack, there's a snack. And I heard snack, and I thought he was playing a new game or something. So I take my headphones on. Hey, Sid, is there actually a snake there? Yeah, right there. And I look, it's like a 5-foot rattlesnake. It was huge.
It's like, Sid, next time, tell us. Don't try and rescue the dog.
He didn't know any better. He was completely chill. Come on, honey. Yeah, there's a snake there. You probably don't want to be there.
Yeah, no. That does not make me happy. So he had a talk on if there's a snake, tell us, don't get the dog in on he didn't actually go out. He was just kind of yelling at the dog, but it was okay.
And I think he just ate something because he had a big fat,
the rattlesnake, not
the rattlesnake. He had a big fat belly. There was something in there he just ate, and he didn't want to move. I yelled at him. I tried throwing things at him.
Yeah, you threw a rock at him.
I threw a rock at him. I threw a log at him.
Someone threw a rock at me.
He just stared at me, sticking his tongue out. What are you gonna do? I'm a rattlesnake. Try me.
The thing is, we live on the canyon, so there was the mountain lion attack a week before.
A kid got attacked by a mountain lion.
He was okay in the end.
That's
and
insane.
then they went and they put down the mountain lion. So what happened? They said they were in the canyon dealing with they were looking. The investigators went down to see if they could find the mountain lion, and the mountain lion came out like, "Hey guys, what's up?" And so they were like, mountain lions shouldn't behave like that. They should be scared of humans. So I guess they shot it, which is a bit sad. We live in a
real rural area. I mean, we're in San Diego. You just don't think of those things happening in San Diego.
We live in a weird area. It's outside the front door, there's crazy urban stuff going on. Outside the back door, we're in the Wild West. It's kind of fun like that. But so I had a bobcat.
Ooh, bobcat!
I got a crazy bobcat.
What is this one? Wait, first off, for those that are new, what's bobcat? Really quick.
Well, actually, I cancelled bobcat. But I think the way bobcat works, it kind of is 2 months ahead. Mm-hmm. So because I cancelled it, I'm probably still going to get sort of parcels for the next 2 months. No, bobcat's interesting. So I think the concept is better than the execution.
Okay.
So the concept is you put in keywords, your interests, things that you like, and Bobcat sends you out things it thinks you'll like. It goes shopping for you using those keywords. So it's kind of like an AI system that it goes, okay, Katharine's into these things. Let's see what we can buy for her. So I cancelled it. But then I got this really cool envelope with some Elvis pictures on the stamps. And I got these seeds. And actually, I just noticed there's a label on them. I didn't notice the label before. But I went and I was like, what are these seeds? But I didn't even know they were seeds. But then I looked at the envelope and I saw the name of the company. So I was like, okay. So let me click actually, because I found their website, and here it is. They're called Be More Spicy. So I guess Bobcat went and bought me some of these seeds, and it says they're birdhouse gourd.
Oh, that's what they are.
That's what they are. So it's some kind of weird, like, what do you mean? It says bottle heirloom arts and crafts project. Like,
what?
I don't know. Can you eat it?
Wait, they said like
what is
they're not
that?
even edible?
I guess I don't know. I don't know if you can eat it or not eat it. But anyway, that's what I got from Bobcat. No, the reason I cancelled it, I was like, okay, I'm spending $20 a month, and I'm literally getting all sorts of random junk. Like really random junk. And I was like, okay, I think I'm going to stop wasting $20 a month on random junk, although it's very entertaining to talk about it on the show.
Yeah.
So what I actually tend to go direct to AliExpress now and buy stuff from there if there's something. Like, I go and look for stuff that I think is fun instead. So I kind of have a trick. Like, what I see often, I always get Facebook ads for things like necklaces and clothes. And, Audrey says you dry them and make birdhouses out of them.
That's cool. Okay.
And Flossie says that. How do you people know this? Galena says you can make beautiful table lamps. Wow, you guys are geniuses. I would never have thought of making birdhouses and lamps out of vegetables.
I know. That's
crazy.
I'm gonna have to Google this afterwards. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I bet you can make like maracas out of them if you dry them out. It could make shakers.
I can see that.
I don't know. Yeah. So that's what I tend to do. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad though. I get adverts on Facebook for like dresses or for like for necklaces or whatever, like jewelry. And I always go, oh, I know what this is. So you look, and on Facebook, it's like $20. I think the best was a ring. I kept getting adverts for this ring, and it's a cool ring. You open it up, and it has a map of the stars. It turns into a little sphere when you open it up. Someone was trying to sell it on Etsy for $100. I got a Facebook.
It was handcrafted, right?
Handcrafted sterling silver. I don't think so. And on Facebook they were selling it for like $20. And so I did like the reverse Google image search. I think on Amazon it was like $30.
I need like a pro tip banner here, because you're giving away like a pretty cool pro tip.
Basically, I AliExpress. Just it always goes back to AliExpress.
So you did a Google reverse image search on the ad you saw on Facebook.
The Facebook ad. And
then from there it led you to AliExpress.
Yeah.
Where you found it for how much?
About $5.
$5 from $100 on Etsy to $5 on AliExpress. So and I'm bad because like I should be on the side of the resellers. Like, hey guys, this is great. Just go and find crap on AliExpress and sell it on Facebook for $20. But I don't know. I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, yeah, these people are just selling junk from AliExpress on Facebook. So if you're a buyer, do a reverse image search when you get ads on Facebook, and you'll probably find things on. This is stuff Honey can't pick up.
Honey, you mean the
extension to give you like discounts?
I thought you were talking about the dog. Then.
No, I'm talking about your extension, Honey.
Wait, the dog's shopping on AliExpress now. What's going on?
Gonna buy a dog biscuit.
She said, wait, look, she totally heard her name. Hey, honey.
There she comes.
Honey, there you go.
Yes,
hey,
yes.
This is a good doggy.
Yeah, she's like, get off the computer so I can shop on AliExpress.
Yeah, she wants to go. Oh, great, we're stuck with her now. She's just going to sit here panting and drooling on us. Don't mention. It's like Kibo. You can't mention him. Always shows up. Yeah. Okay, so I hope you guys are all doing well. Let me see. We've got. Oh, I had a quick cool stuff. Can I share my cool stuff?
Yeah, share it.
Oh my God, she licked me. Oh, I wish she wouldn't lick me. I don't like it when you lick me. My cool stuff was I found this list of playing card museums, which I thought was really fun. So I was kind of thinking about public domain and playing cards. I can't remember how I found this, but this gave me a couple of ideas. The first was that there are museums all over the world with online collections of art. Much of that art is in the public domain. Like anything pre-1924 is pretty much almost certainly in the public domain. Yeah. And there are museums all over the world. And the amazing thing now is like we have Google Translate, so you can like read them in English.
Yes.
And I think people are kind of missing how many opportunities there are in the public domain internationally. Like look at all these cool art museums in like Germany, France, Luxembourg, Japan, whatever. There's so much cool stuff out there. But it also got me thinking about playing cards. And I looked on Public Domain Review. And look, they have some playing cards from, when is this? 1886, a pack of Cavalier playing cards. It's like a little book of them.
That's pretty cool.
Aren't they fun? So those are from the 1800s, definitely in the public domain. They had these Moriarty cards as well. I guess these were like the popular sort of, these were the lookers of the day, like 1916.
Now, are these traditional gaming cards, or are they like kind of like unique ways to play these card games?
They're just playing cards.
Okay.
They're just standard playing cards with pretty patterns. And I really I wanted to show you something. So I went in my hoarder cupboard.
Uh-oh.
Do you want to see what I got out of my hoarder cupboard? Check it out. I have so many old playing cards, like all kinds.
Is this stuff from your treasure hunting days?
I've got so much stuff from my treasure hunting days. I've got Shakespeare. Oh, wait, let me stop the share. I got like Shakespeare playing cards. Oh, yeah. For those of you who didn't see, because I was waving it all around and had this share on. Yeah, I have like stacks of playing cards. I don't even know what to do with them. These are pretty cool. Look at these, Piero and Paintress. Paintress. She's like a little painter. Like, I have so many cool old playing cards. Now, what I will say though, most of them, like most cards you find, will probably have some copyright, especially if they're from major brands like Congress or Bicycle or any of the major ones.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of stuff that slipped into the public domain. So we know anything pre-1924 is public domain. I'm actually looking at some of these cards that are from the 40s and 50s. They don't have proper copyright symbols on. So if you're willing to do a bit of treasure hunting in the public domain and do your research, a lot of works pre-1970s, 1980s are actually in the public domain because they were either not correctly copyrighted, so they didn't put a copyright symbol on. And if they did copyright them, the copyright has expired and they didn't bother registering it.
Yeah.
And what is actually true is that the majority of works published before the 70s and 80s are actually not copyrighted properly.
Oh.
So the thing is, though, those things tend to be obscure.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you think about the whole body of work that's been published between 1924 and like I've forgotten the date, but it's like the early 80s.
Yeah.
There's actually like millions of books, magazines, wrapping paper, wallpaper, just all kinds of things, ephemera, cards, stickers, labels, like whatever you can think of. Now, some of those things became popular, and those tend to be the books that we have on our shelves, like books that people have heard of. Like, I don't know, like 1984, for example, that's kind of like a really popular book. However, there's all kinds of books, like sort of pulpy fiction books, and, like dime store books and patterns, stickers, independently published posters, pictures, usually sort of small independently published things. People didn't bother copywriting them. And actually, the majority of works, if you go into the obscure, are not properly copyrighted. And a lot are available for use in the public domain.
That's so cool.
So I think playing cards are just, and the reason I thought it was kind of fun is because they tap into ephemera. And I love finding ephemera. And the thing is, you kind of have to do your work on it. Like you kind of have to do your homework. Like I have like these sort of note cards, but it gives you very little of like, there's no copyright symbols on them. So it's like you kind of have to do your own homework on the company. And whether they're still around, whether they copyrighted them, but there's actually no copyright symbols on these anyway. So I feel like there's a lot of opportunity. Well, I know there's a lot of opportunities
absolutely.
In ephemera and the public domain. And I also wanted to share, there was a couple of things I wanted to share just while I was thinking about playing cards. And I love cards because I feel they make a great accompaniment to books. Like a lot of coaches use cards.
Oh, yeah.
People make tarot cards, like specialist tarot cards. And I like, well, another thing is you can actually buy a lot on eBay. Like if you look on eBay, there's all kinds of old vintage cards. So if you can find some information about when they were published, like these look very old, like these Wright's biscuits. Of course, trademarks are an issue too, but the thing is you can use a lot of these images in your books if you can prove they're in the public domain. So it's kind of for people who like doing research. You can look at the Library of Congress, see if they were registered, see if any copyright registration was renewed. but a lot of opportunities, guys, like postcards as well. I found a lot of old postcards that aren't copyrighted.
That's really cool.
Because a lot of postcards are published by people like hotels. So like imagine like the 1940s, a hotel makes some postcards to advertise their hotel. The hotel is long gone.
Yeah.
No one bothered renewing the copyright. That there was never a copyright symbol on there. The chances are it's not copyrighted anymore. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. Like if you're willing to do the research, you're kind of interested in old things. Like I love that stuff. I can dig around in the public domain and thrift stores on eBay forever looking for those kind of things.
I look at these images. I mean, as long as you have the rights to them, I mean, you can scan them and put them in Photoshop and then reuse them for whatever you want.
So there was some boobs on the screen. I'm sorry, I just like went straight into boobs. This company I think are really interesting. There's a company called UC, and they have like a cult following in playing cards. And these are their own artwork. I believe these are their own artwork. I love this hotcakes one. This is like their naughty burlesque one.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty funny. There we go. I love I love the image. I love the artwork. But this company, UC, have actually been like making their own cards and getting a really big cult following. Yeah. And I think printing niche cards is a really interesting idea. And this company, Playing Card Decks, they're reprinting cards. And I suspect they're doing exactly what I said, which is finding public domain cards and reprinting them. Yeah. So I don't know for sure, but I suspect these are all public domain. And actually, they have the hotcakes, which is interesting. So I suspect they are finding public domain cards that they can reprint. So I thought that was kind of fun. Sorry about the random boobs on the screen. That tends to happen when we're around, you know. Hi, Aisha. I just want to give a shout out to Aisha. I saw her there. And hi to Marilyn as well. Marilyn Southmead. I saw her there. Cool. Okay, so let's move on. What else have we got to talk about?
Okay, so let's see.
You've got Google Stadia. You've got.
Oh yeah. So I guess we can jump into news real quick.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's see. What was this one?
Oh, I'll skip that.
Okay,
we can do that next week.
Okay. So in the news, there was a lot happening, especially
let me see. Oh my gosh, I can't find. Oh, there it is. There we go.
Okay. So E3, we just had E3, which is the big annual gaming conference, and Sony wasn't there, but they didn't need to be because they're like the biggest gaming console right now. But there's a new player on the scene, which is Google, and you
may have heard of them.
You may have heard of them. Yeah, a little company called Google. Anyways, they're offering this new gaming console, which could possibly change the industry. This is like a game changer kind of thing, and it's called Google Stadia. So I mentioned this a few weeks ago, and what it is it's a high-end gaming console, like very top of the line. But instead of you owning the physical box, they stream it to you on multiple devices. So it could be your laptop, possibly a Chromebook, your phone, or your television through a Chromecast. And it's going to be, I believe, like $8 a month, and you get access to it. And it's pretty much like having your own personal console. You still buy the games and you have access to the games, but it's a really interesting concept. The whole thing is very interesting. And so I wanted to kind of share that and how streaming is it's changing the way we're working with computers. And it goes back to what we talked about a month ago, which is Shadow. So I pay for a service, $35 a month, and I get access to a high-end PC. And with it, I can access this PC on any of our laptops in the house, including our Chromebooks.
That's pretty magical.
Which is pretty cool. So I've installed, a few Steam games. I have the whole Creative Suite, Adobe Creative Suite. So I have Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign on my Shadow computer. And as long as I have a device that can access my Shadow computer, I have access to all of these high-end programs. So it's
pretty amazing.
Really, really awesome. And so Google is kind of taking this to the next level with gaming. So that's it with that.
You said it's $10 a month or $130 for the Founder Editions kit for early adopters.
Yes. So what they're doing is they're going to launch this at the end of the year, and they're starting this off for $100. It's $10 a month to pay for it, but they're selling a kit for $130 where it comes with the controller because you need a special
controller. I like the controller. I was just thinking that looks really neat.
And a little Chromecast device that'll connect to your television. So essentially, it's everything you need to get started.
And then you said, is Sony and Microsoft worried? I thought that was interesting.
Yes. So is Sony and Microsoft worried? Well, we know by their actions because Sony and Microsoft signed a very, very rare partnership where Microsoft is going to provide the infrastructure for cloud gaming for both themselves and Sony.
Oh.
So Microsoft is taking this very seriously.
They're teaming up. Sony and Microsoft are teaming up.
Yes.
That's interesting.
And so Microsoft, they're working on something called xCloud, but not a whole lot of announcement. But they are looking into going into that area.
So I read that Amazon, so E3 is happening right now, and E3 is like the big gamer convention. Well, it's not a convention; it's like more like a showcase where they show where all the big game developers show off their games. Apparently, Amazon Game Studios laid off, and they're not saying how many people, but they said it was dozens of people while E3 was happening. So basically, while the news was kind of saturated with E3, Amazon Game Studios actually laid off a lot of their employees, which is kind of disturbing.
Is it disturbing, or I don't?
Well, it's sad if you're.
Yeah, it sucks if you're working for Amazon. I don't know. I'm not really sure where they're going. It's rumored that they're also going to step up and offer their services for cloud gaming.
So shall we jump? What would you like to talk about?
So, let's see here.
We're about halfway through.
Halfway through, yeah, I see that.
Oh, I had one quickly. I wanted to talk about Steemit very briefly.
Oh yeah.
Platform of the week. So for platform of the week, I wanted to talk about this page, which is called Steemit. And Steemit is really interesting because it is they're trying to be Reddit, but with blockchain. And what's interesting is they actually just issued this this blog saying now they've left survival mode, they've entered into thrive mode, and they're saying they want to start being seen more as a financial platform than a social media platform, which I think is really interesting and curious.
What? So we went from like Reddit to like a bank?
Yes. Because what they do, so it's kind of cool. If you click on like art, for example, so you can use Steemit actually just as you would like use something like Reddit, find trends, find things that are popular. There's actually a lot of really interesting things in here, like original art photography series. You can go and like look at these cool things. And basically what they do is reward content creators with money. The people who get upvoted, they have their own currency, and they pay you if you find cool stuff and post it on Steemit. So there's like a financial incentive to post content on Steemit. But they're doing it all using a blockchain and cryptocurrency. So this is a little over my head. I'm like, this is cool. I'm trying to learn more about this. But I think it's something to watch. Like they're saying they're starting to thrive. The platform's starting to really take off and get a lot more interest, and more money's being generated. Like you can see, I believe this is how much the content creators, it's like how much the share of the pie is that they're getting.
Yes.
So it's kind of an interesting platform to just watch. It's called Steemit. It has a lot of different topics that you can read about. So if you want to find content, this is a great place to find original content, like pictures of people riding bikes in the rain. It's like an art thing. Sugar skulls, like you can get a lot of cool ideas from this. And they have a lot of different topics that you can browse through as well. So I think it's an interesting platform to watch. I also think it's an interesting technology to watch, this concept of blockchain with social media and rewarding content creators. So it's like they're not, so we were kind of talking about this earlier and how they're not really mining like Bitcoin or currency. Instead, they're kind of generating it through content. And so
guess who's else creating their own currency?
Who is creating their own currency?
Facebook.
Mr. Zuckerberg. There he is.
That's
June
right.
18th, cryptocurrency is coming to Facebook.
Yep. So this is really interesting. Facebook is also, they've also created their own cryptocurrency, and they're doing this what it looks like to ease the pains of international transactions.
That makes sense. Like I feel like Facebook is kind of defying country like boundaries.
Oh, absolutely.
Borders.
Yeah.
Like Facebook is just so international. You don't really know where people are when you're talking to them.
Yes, and it's becoming more so, especially with automatic translations and things like that. So this is really interesting. Why are they doing this? One reason is that they don't have to pay any of the fees you get from credit card transactions or bank transactions.
Wow.
So we can exchange currency, from here to someone in, say, France, Paris, and we don't have to worry about.
Nice time.
Yeah. We have to worry about paying for some type of transaction because it's all done through Facebook's cryptocurrency. And I guess the only fee we will pay is when we cash out our cryptocurrency into like US dollars.
So the BBC said it was going to be called Global Coin, but now they're saying they're going to use the code name Libra.
Libra, yeah, that's
kind of interesting.
And it's in Switzerland, which of course.
Oh, they were talking to the Bank of England as well. I know.
Yeah, for that, yeah.
Thing. Okay, so you had Enviro Plus. Is that something?
Oh yeah. So so there's another thing with news.
You've got a lot of nerdy stuff. We said it's going to be a nerd day today.
So really kind of sad. Maker Faire and Make Magazine is shutting down.
No.
So for those of you, Maker Faire is this huge. Well, it was kind of there was a collection of mini fairs, maker fairs, all over the country, I believe all over the world, and people would get together, hobbyists would get together and show their little projects that they've made. A lot of them had to do with Arduinos or a Raspberry Pi, they made a little robot or something. And then there's a lot of arts and crafts stuff. So it's a really cool community. And so it's really sad to see it that they ran out of money and they had to get rid of all their employees.
I have some thoughts on that. But
yeah.
Did you want to talk about the
Enviro? I did. And so one thing in the spirit of this is kind of a cool tech thing. It is called Enviro Plus. And I saw this on Hacker News this morning. And so what it is, it's a little board with a lot of sensors to take in data of your outside environment. And then you can monitor it. So you can look at air pollution, you can look at humidity, you can see light, and a few other things, temperature.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and all this you're taking in, and you can put this on a Raspberry Pi. Now the data, you can contribute it to an open to what's called let's see here. If I can find it.
I can find it. Keep.
Yeah. So you can contribute it to
Luftdaten.
Yes, Luftdaten data. There's a couple of open source data projects where there's just huge databases that are crowdsourced through, everyone kind of contributed to it. And then data scientists can use that for their own research.
You know what I like about this? Because it has sensors about your environment. You can link this up to other things.
Yes.
And think about smart homes.
Right?
Yes. So you could link this up to your air conditioning and program it to to change your thermostat in your house. You could change it. You could link it up to stuff like, I don't know, if you have a cooler for your drinks, you could have cool drinks. You could have hot drinks when it's cold. I feel there's a lot of things you could use this
for. Everyone has their own custom needs. I mean, you can connect this because it is a Raspberry Pi, so you can do it with any web services. So if then that.
Yes.
You can get an email if the air pollution's too, should I ride my bike to work today?
Whoa.
Okay. And then you see what the air pollution's like, and that'll kind of let you know if it's a good day. Also, you can link it with Alexa skills.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, Alexa, what's the, whatever it is you want to know outside. And so I think it's really cool for hobbyists. And also I think students can really see for themselves, they can learn about their environment in a way that they haven't done before, which I thought was really cool.
So that kind of leads in. We've got the big debate here.
Yeah.
I thought this was interesting because we were talking about Maker Faire closing down and Maker and the Make brand and how that's closing down. And I was really, it tied in for me with something when I was doing the back to school class this week. One thing I did was I went back and looked at my back to school classes when we did bundles and my back to school education stuff I did for Curate. And it was interesting because back then I linked to the White House and to government sites, the education government sites, because that would be 2016, the Obama administration. And they were really pushing hard on STEM.
Mm-hmm.
That's the science, technology, engineering, math.
Mm-hmm.
And they were working to put more and more STEM into schools. And I know when we were talking with the teachers around that time, STEM was like a huge thing. And it was kind of interesting to me because I went back to those links and they've all been archived now. Some have disappeared and some have been archived, because the new administration just has a different focus. They're focusing on like charter schools and kind of going back more to, I guess, the basics. But STEM isn't really part of the current administration and their priorities, which personally I find very sad. I know I try and avoid politics in any way on our shows, but I found that kind of sad. But I also wondered if that's kind of having a knock-on effect, because I know in the UK, for example, so brief tangent, I actually, before I moved here, I was considering going into a career in game development, and I actually went to a college for a couple of months, and then I dropped out because I realized I didn't want to be a game developer. I was just not, I had other things that I wanted to prioritize. So I actually saw what they were doing in the UK, and in the UK, gaming and technology is getting a lot of government subsidies, or at least it was at that time.
Yes.
And I think that kind of has a knock-on effect, like the political support for engineering, for science, for technology. So I kind of wonder if that's had a knock-on effect, because I think the previous administration were really pushing to have these tools in schools and to have kids making robots, to have kids making electronics. And I feel like that there's a different focus now that isn't so much there. And I wonder if, because schools aren't focused on it, that these companies that invested in that, the political influence has kind of brought it down a bit.
I'm kind of on the fence by that. And the reason why I say that is because the number of electronic toys we find in the bargain bin at Barnes and Noble.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel there wasn't such a continuation.
Well, I remember this from like 2010 to 2012, when this was kind of emerging. Everyone thought 3D printers were going to be the next big thing.
They kind of are.
But they never really hit mainstream.
Yeah.
I mean, only hobbyists. It seems to just, it's a very niche thing that, you know, it's a large number of hobbyists, but it's not like mainstream. Every household has a 3D printer.
Wow, this is depressing.
Well, because it wasn't as big of a thing for most people. It didn't have that big of an impact in their lives. And I think a lot of people were pushing these kind of make your own robots, and then people decided to turn it into a business, which makes sense. But I think there was just a huge saturation of it. And then also...
Well, it started off with Wonder Workshop. Like, they were pretty much the only ones doing it with Dash and Dot. And they had the Dash and Dot robots. And I remember when Sid was little, he loved the Dash and Dot.
He did.
But then there were all these other ones that started coming in. And I don't know. We ended up with a lot of robots.
I mean, I think they sold it to parents because it was considered an educational tool. And after watching Sid play with a handful of these different toys, I do question the educational part of it. Most of them, they feel like toys. They don't, I mean, if I ask Sid, hey, great, Sid, tell me what you know about electronics, what you know about electrical components.
You put here, so the big debate topic is, do modern science toys such as Build This Robot encourage kids to learn more about electronics? So I told you the story of when I was at school. So this is going back to the dark ages. But when I was at school, and I was little, like 7 or 8 years old, I remember...
This is when dinosaurs walked the earth,
pretty much, right? So we learned Logo. Did you ever do Logo?
Yes.
Okay, Logo's cool, right? When you're like a little kid.
Was that the one with the little turtle?
Yes. So you have a turtle on your screen, and you basically can program the turtle, and he runs around the screen. Yeah. And it kind of teaches kids, I've forgotten the word for it, but like dimensions and like just how to move. Like it kind of teaches them area and space and geometry and those kind of things. But also it gets you interested in coding. Now, one day after I'd been learning Logo, the teacher brought in this truck, and it was called a Big Track.
Oh, yeah.
And it was freaking awesome. So I saw this, and this is little 7-year-old Katharyne. I'm just like, oh, it's a big truck. That's so cool. Because you could program it. And it was like the first thing, like other than remote control cars, like remote control cars were around. But this was cool because you could program it to do a whole bunch of things and to move in different directions. And that for me got me really interested in coding, programming. And I tried... I had a little Amstrad computer, and I used to copy in all the code and programming, and like from a 7-8-year-old, I spent hours just copying code and doing this stuff. But I think my problem was it was like I got interested in it, but I didn't really have a community to
okay.
So it was like after the first
to share ideas with and creative ideas. And
so
stuff.
it's like that gave me the first steps. But it's like, where do you go from there? And I know like later on, I got really interested in programming again when I was sort of in my teens, because suddenly I had access to the internet. And on the internet at those times, again, in the dark ages, we didn't really have web browsers. It was kind of before, it was just when web browsers were coming in, like Netscape and all the early web browsers. And I got really into like programming HTML and making websites. But it was because I kind of had friends who were doing the same thing. And I feel like part of the problem with science toys and robots is like they give you the first steps, but it's very spoon-fed. And I feel like there's then this jump to like actual, like getting creative and solving problems and actually coming up with your own. And I mean, the beauty in coding isn't in copying out a program. It's in coming up with your own program, like solving a problem and using it to solve a problem.
Or hacking something that exists, modifying something that exists and making it to match what you want it to do.
Yeah. And I think like the real, I mean, like your whole thing, I mean, like I don't program anymore. Like I gave it up a long time ago, but I mean, like you're the programmer guy. And you're always creative. Like the thing is you see problems. Like I don't know, when you made the trademark checker or you made like Search Blast or all the tools you've made have been a response to like, people are having this problem. Let me see if I can help with that. And I think that's kind of the mentality that like you need to really progress on the STEM path. Like it's about being creative. And I think the problem is, I feel like in a way they're more focused on the tool than they are on the mindset. Like I feel
yes, and I especially like these giving them to kids. I think they're more focused on the toy aspect of it and making it kid friendly. Where I'm not sure if the kid is really getting what the parent wants out of it.
You just want to beat children into learning machine code.
Boom, yeah, assembly language, right?
Okay, child,
right,
you write assembly.
Locking you in the closet until you learn assembly language.
Wow. Yeah. Don't call Child Protective Services. He's kidding. He's kidding. You're all right, Sid, aren't you? Yeah. Okay, he's okay. He's not in the closet. Oh, you're taking your dog. That's a good idea. Okay. He's taking the dog away. That's probably a good thing. Okay, well, actually, we need to finish up soon because we have an improv show to go and do. So, I you know what? Have you got anything else to add?
I think that's it.
Okay, so we will be back next week. I'm sorry we didn't have a show last week, guys. We were just kind of busy and prepping for the class. So check out, if you're not in our Facebook group, join it. It's awesome. It's at facebook.com/group/Amazon Create Space. Join it. It's that we did a free class this week. Please go and check it out. It's all about making low content books for back to school. If you're like, I made 1 million composition books, go watch this because it'll give you 1 million other things to make that other people aren't making. And I totally show you how to stand out from the crowd and make books that just stand above. Like everyone's saying, okay, I look at Amazon now, and I type something in and there's like 1 million low content books with crappy or blank books with crappy covers. This class tells you how not to get caught in that trap and how to stand head and shoulders above. And by that, I mean top of the search ranks above all those crappy books. Like you don't have to make crappy books. There are so many opportunities out there. And I show you my keynote pages. I show you how I make templates. There's a lot in there. So check it out. It's in our Facebook group. I hope you have. And buy Tangent templates. Blatant plug. Buy Tangent templates. Guys, we love you lots. We appreciate you joining us. We are off now to go and jump around on stage, being monkeys and dinosaurs, making fools of ourselves as we usually do. Have an awesome weekend. We will be back next week. All right, guys. Bye.